Hello and welcome to the Official Watches YouTube channel. I am really excited to say that today you will be joining me for another 2-for-1 challenge. For anyone who hasn't yet played the 2-for-1 challenge, the game and the rules are very simple. I'm going to show you 3 watches with a mini overview on each. The first 2 make up the value of the third. It's then over to you to decide if you'd go for the 2 or for the 1. You can't have all 3. I would like to say a huge thank you to everybody who took part in the last 2-for-1 challenge. Let's face it, videos like these don't work if you don't take part, so thank you so much for voting, and please do let me know after you've heard a little bit about each of these pieces. So, without further ado, let's get cracking into it. Okay, now I'm going to come out and say it. I think that this is a tricky one this week because there are actually some pros and cons to both. So let's see what you think. Right, first up, I have the Hublot, and it is none other than the 421 OX1118 LR0999. Somebody call the emergencies. It's the Big Bang Unico King Gold Rainbow. You've probably seen the recent episode on this. If you haven't, it's an absolute riot, whichever way you look at it. Yes, it's a Hublot. Yes, it's a mad watch. Kylian Mbappe made it famous when he was wearing it at the World Cup. It's 44mm case, and it fuses their proprietary 18-carat King Gold with 162 Piguet and brilliant cut gemstones. They consist of rubies, pink sapphires, amethyst, blue sapphires, blue topaz and savorite, and finally yellow and orange sapphires. Not satisfied with doing just a baguette bezel, Hublot has covered the rest of the head, ranging from shoulders, strap system, indexes and chronograph rings with, yep, you guessed it, gemstones. Yes, there's a lot going on this watch, but if you really take a close look at the set, it's phenomenally well executed. And in fact, rainbow watches aren't new. They've been released by quite a few brands, most notably Rolex, who have been joined by AP, Chopard, Parmigiani Flora, and even Patek, who recently found themselves in on the deal with the new Aquanaut Luce. They are, without a shadow of a doubt, a manufacturer flex with some fun in mind. And as you guys know, I do really enjoy them. Now, they aren't for everyday office wear, unless your office is a Miami nightclub, but let's face it, if you're at the point of looking at rainbows or any other variant of a gem set wrist bauble, you've probably already got your daily wearers covered and beyond. The thing is though, if you were brave enough, beneath the light show and the exterior lies an absolutely spot-on daily wearer. It's a Big Bang Unico. The movement is Hublot's caliber HUB 1280, which is an automatic flyback column wheel chronograph movement with date, which boasts a 72-hour power reserve. It's water resistant to a more than adequate 100 meters, so it will survive a swim with ease. Price range on this is £50,000. So, next up, what is it? One that I'm extremely excited about. You'll always hear me raving about this watch. It's none other than the Patek Philippe Nautilus Travel Time Chronograph 5990 18001, and it has the discontinued black fume dial. As you know, the travel time complication is my absolute favourite on any Nautilus, and this occupies the top tier of the Nautilus line. It adds a useful travel time GMT complication to the flyback chronograph found in its stablemate, the 5980. It was discontinued in 2022 and replaced with a blue dial variant. The stats are a very comfortable 40.5mm wide and 12.8mm tall, with a length of 51.2mm, which makes it exceptionally well balanced on the wrist. Given that it's hosting 2 complications with the flyback chronograph and the travel time features, Patek have been rather ingenious at keeping the iconic Nautilus shape constant by incorporating the travel time triggers into the left-hand side of the case. This lovely little twist of tech has meant that the only real disruption to the original case design is a bit of weight gain. Happens to us all after 46 years. And with the addition of the 2 chronograph buttons on the side of the case, it really all comes together nicely. Now that said, the 5980 has been sporting chrono triggers very successfully since 2006, so they're an addition that we are already well accustomed to. There is a date change pusher tucked above the top chronograph button, and despite having 5 additional ingress points on the case, water resistance is still an excellent 120 meters. The pointer date subdial at 12 and the small seconds at 6, the day and night indicator, apertures at 3 and 9, GMT hand, which is either operational or can be hidden underneath the hour hand. That's an absolute favourite thing of mine because it cleans up the dial so nicely when you don't need the travel time. And the chronograph feature on the 5990 is a flyback, which allows you to time multiple events in a sequence if you really want to. This exceptionally tidy package comes in at around 90,000. So guys, that is the 2 part of the video covered, okay? So you could have a Nautilus 5990 and a King Gold Rainbow. Or are we gonna go for the number 1, which is none other than the Audemars Piguet Royal Oak Chronograph Frosted Gold. It's the 26239 BC.GG 1224 BC.01. As you guys know, I love AP model numbers. This limited edition piece takes texture to a whole new level. It has been completely frosted using the chisel technique that was developed by none other than Carolina Bucci, a Florentine jeweller who often works with AP and has co-designed some of their most sought-after limited editions. Now, as these are all hand-finished, no 2 watches will ever be the same, and due to the random human nature of the workmanship, this ensures that frosted pieces shine. They are treated to a platinum coating, which over the white gold cools the naturally warmer tone of the white gold and creates a bright glistening finish. The grey tapisserie dial plays really well with the case and bracelet to create a really wintry monochromatic look. Despite being billed as a 41mm watch, this piece wears larger than its size suggests. On the wrist, it's closer to a 43mm, so think sea dweller size without suffering from the same level of chunk. This is largely down to the lug length rather than the width of the piece. At 51.5mm lug to lug, it's already larger than the standard sports watches, but the integrated bracelet increases this to 54mm, which is key to its presence when on the wrist. Now, it's not a subtle watch, but with its glinting hand polish facets and its sharp angles, it was never designed to fly under the radar. It's running the in-house caliber 4401, which replaces the older Frederick Piguet 1185 movement previously used in the chronograph range. This new movement is a peach. Flyback chronograph, which can be stopped and reset using just the lower button. The movement also sports a column wheel and visible vertical clutch, which means that if you're not a fan of using small seconds for reference, you can keep the chronograph running with no loss of power or timekeeping. Shock protection in the shape of a Gyromax balance means that this movement can take most things that you can care to throw at it. Aesthetically, one of the most important things to note about the new movement is its size, because the size fits the case. This addresses a long-running gripe from AP and fans alike because the previous calibers used in the chronograph and offshore range were too small for the large cases. Genta's goal in 1972 was to create a statement piece, and this particular frosted gold chronograph, which still carries all the angles and DNA of the original design, this continues his legacy as one of the greatest designers of the 20th century. And this one comes in at around £148,000. So guys, that wraps up the 2-for-1 challenge for this week. Are we going to go for the sporty 5990 with the crazy rainbow combo? Or are we going to go for the one frosted gold to rule them all? This is very, very tricky because here you're getting almost a collection. You could go wild at night with this and travel the world with this. Oh, this isn't an easy one, and I haven't made my mind up yet, but I will let you guys know my decision after we hit about 20 comments. Jardin du Mayfair, heaven on earth for the watch enthusiast. Thank you so much for joining me. I've been Oscar, signing off.